Okay, there. Welcome to Sunday session for January 8th, 2023, man. Great first week. Started off a little slow and then things start picking up going into Friday. Biggest moving days are Monday and Fridays usually, so preparing for those days are definitely key. Um, there's a lot of opportunity in the market coming up soon. If you guys want to, take advantage of some of these short-term movements, that's what we're going to be looking at today. There's earnings coming up this week for the banks. Let's go look at that real quick. Earnings date. Oh, everything that's in pink is what's up and coming. So we got Netflix on January 9th. Please be writing, bring your notepad, bring your paperwork, bring some, please. When I be calling out these dates, I expect for you guys to reiterate these dates in the group. If you guys will, please help us out. It's a lot of things to keep up with. We just want to, take advantage of a few, and just, go from there. But yeah, we got the IBM is coming up on the 25th. We got JP Morgan on the 13th, Bank of America on the 13th also. Um, we got Boeing on the 25th. We got PFE on the 31st. So it's definitely one of those ones where we start to see a lot of things pick up. Verizon, sleeper company, no one's really talking about those. They also pay high dividends. Came down to about $35. Now they're at 42. And don't forget, there's a lot of gaps in these stocks going into this new year. So we could be looking forward to a lot of gap fills, a lot of movement towards their gaps. So pay attention. I'm just throwing out Verizon because you can just look at the chart and notice downtrend break pop up. If you guys don't want to chart by yourself, use FinViz. It's easy, it's simple, it's already made for you, especially with the trend lines. And then you can make decisions from there. RSI is super high on Verizon, may see some downside. So no matter what you do, no matter what stock you have, I always encourage people to start learning them technical analysis, man, because it's definitely going to make it very simple for you and it's going to build your confidence. It's cool, we can follow what everybody else is talking about. If you see a stock somebody's talking about, my suggestion is always go to the charts, make sure your charts confirm what they're saying, and then you can make a quality decision from there. But yeah, you know, beginning of the year, tech usually moves slow, and then you see a lot of movement from out of the energy sector and some of the healthcare sector pick up a little bit. So please understand, I'm not super bullish on nothing until June. Until we get to May and June and I see the bottom of the market, that's when I'm gonna start doing a lot of tech swings and a lot of different things going. The same thing we did last year. We hit from June to August and then from October to November. It's the same type of process we're looking forward to May and June and seeing what those numbers come out looking like right before their summer earnings and that summer run. So please pay attention. Hopefully, you guys got your notepad. Hopefully, you guys got y'all paperwork together. Watch list this week is not going to be super heavy. Just going to make it pretty, five. Is that cool? Everybody, five stocks. We got. Of course, you can do whatever you want. There's a lot of different options, but let's keep it simple. Let's hit you with the five real quick, and then we'll go from there. And see what happens. So. First one, SPY. Always like to lead off with SPY. It definitely tell you direction of the market and tell you which way that people are feeling. What type of sentiment are we having going towards this week? I already put out some notes for SPY also. So if you guys want to go look at that trade idea, it's feel free. It's there. It's a lot of scenarios we can go through that can help us figure out how this can go. Um, and then we'll go from there. Then I'll give you guys like the last 15 minutes. You guys can chat it up, ask questions. I know Lou got some ideas on Tesla. Um, and then we'll go from there, dude. It's definitely, it's a lot. It's a lot. But if you guys just go through the process of getting your support and resistance, setting your alerts, and going through the same exercises, you will become consistent. You will become consistent. It's just how it is. Being patient. Wait until them red days. On red days, we should be doing more note taking and going to our charts because that recovery, just like what we had on Friday, should be prepared for. You feel me? So don't throw your hands up on a red day and say I'm not trading today and feel bad and don't want to do nothing. Those are the days to really figure out where the money's going to go. You feel what I'm saying? Those are the days to kind of pick up and figure it out. So don't let red days pass you by without looking for an opportunity, please. But if the week start off, I don't think it's going to start off super bullish tomorrow. It may not. Just like I said, Monday and Fridays are big moving days for the stock market. So let's see how this go for sure. This is SPY. So on SPY, this is what I did. I'm gonna delete everything. Because I already took the notes and did all that stuff. I can redo it about 20 more times if I have to, but let's delete it. Let's see how it looks. So this is SPY on the weekly. And what I continue to show you guys the weekly, because that's the time frame we're going to use when we notice that huge reversal once the stock market want to change directions. So we're going to be using that weekly to start off every Sunday session, or every time you do a chart, start off on that weekly time frame so we can get an idea of what we want to do. So basically, what I did a 3-tier trading channel. So what you're going to see here is going to be a 3-tier trading channel. You see the top tier, that's the resistance on the trade or on the trend. Notice it hit 4 times at that point, right? But one thing about this trend is different is that it came up with a mid trend zone, right? So you can come up in there, you can just set that up like so. And then you got your bottom tier zone right here. And this is all technical analysis, guys. I showed you guys on the learning section, where the starter pack, I showed you guys what a 3-tier setup looked like on a 4-hour time frame. This is the 3-tier setup on the weekly time frame. And you can do what's best for you, but this is what works for me. So I like to notice everything before I start, making decisions. So I might come in with the trend lines, and I might come in with the moving averages, and then just to have confirmations, use them quadrant lines, and then go from there. But this is a 3-tier setup on the trend channel. What you're looking for is the same support and resistance. Notice how when it got past this first tier, we're going to go all the way back to 2001. And usually I'm going to use SPY as the teaching chart. You feel me? It's more of the rest of them just probably fly through them. But this one is where you got to take your notes at, because I'm going to be teaching you guys different techniques to notice. And I posted this on Thursday going into Friday. So this definitely was I'm trying to give out clues of which way I was going. Even though it's always nerve-wracking, the psychology behind this is 80%. The mechanics that I'm doing now is only 20%. So no matter what I feel like on Friday, I can be bullish in my mind, but if the chart don't recognize that, then we just can't move on it. But thank God it reversed and went crazy. So it noticed the reason I noticed this tier, because it's definitely bounced off of there back in 2001 and then retested that top trend line, or it bounced and then created the first point of the top trend line. And then we came down, we've seen a couple moves off of it multiple times. We've seen a resistance in 2022 in June, right? Off that mid-tier line, and then it dropped down again, gave us that bottom support area on the bottom trend, and then bounced all the way through it. You can use this as support and resistance, right? And you can use the middle tier as a confirmation. You can use it as, if it breaks above this middle tier, I can be able to get a call, or you can see if it breaks below that middle tier, I can get a put. If it goes to that middle tier as a resistance and don't break it, look what happens. It breaks back down and hit right back onto the trend line. So this trend channel is the overall trend channel is bearish, but the opportunity of the trend channel is definitely there when you start seeing movement towards that mid tier, and then it don't break it, then reverse back up, right? So of course, the first 6 months of the year is bearish. So the ideal is, if you was going to do long puts, or if you was going to do something longer than what we've been doing, just 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out, month and a half in, or whatever, you should be able to figure out if this is going to pop back up towards this trend line, right? And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we're going to have another test back at this trend line, right? And then at this point, we get our puts, right? And at this point is like $400. That's that 400 gap fill that I put into the notes. So when you're trading, you want to, and if you're like, look, I understand that the sentiment of the market is bearish. I understand that we're going to a bearish time. You want to buy in your puts at this trend. This been denied 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And since we're getting a bounce off the mid-tier, it looked like it's going to retest the top trend line. Simple. That's so simple to go by. It shouldn't be too confusing. It should be kind of easy. I'm not using a lot of moving averages here. I'm literally just using the trend channel to gauge and notice that we may get a pop. So when I put my notes together, I'll have that in the back of my mind. And that's why I put into the $400 calls, right? The 395s and the 390s. Because I really want to be in the money. If it does break above floor resistance and be able to capitalize off of it, I want to be able to be in the money if we do go retest this top trend line, especially in the position where we're at. Everything that I'm seeing on all of my charts are saying that this is a buy zone, that we're going to a buy channel on a 4-hour chart because we broke above a 4-hour resistance. So I'm definitely looking towards that $400 is my target, but I want to buy a 390 or a 395 call. If you wanted to push that call out a little bit further, you can for safety. But Monday and Tuesday, what I put together is for a Monday or Tuesday trade idea. It's not for something that's longer than that because I haven't seen what happened. So the market ain't open, so I really don't know how it's gonna react first. It may react with another downside and come down to the 200-day moving average. So this is the weekly chart, and this is the possibilities. Anything can happen. Even though these candles look bullish, even though the market on the 4-hour look bullish, we may be able to come back down to about 370 before it retests, right? We don't know that, but we'll have to lock into our charts and make sure we have everything set up accordingly. Because if it does, I want to be prepared for any scenario that's possible. Also, I'm looking for a break above that 9-day moving average, right? If we get the break above that 9-day moving average, which is about 388, we should be able to see a nice move towards the 65-day moving average, which is where? Right on top of that trend line. So no matter how I see this, I see, I'm prepared for anything to happen. That's why, I kind of go through the phases of going through every technical aspect of it. So when it moves and it happens, I'm prepared. Hope you guys are setting your alerts. Hope you guys are taking advantage of all the information that's being put out. But this is the setup on the 1 week using the 200-day moving average, 9-day moving average, and a 65-day moving average. And you notice where the 65 is sitting at. It's sitting at 402, right? We know that there's a gap need to be filled up to 400. So think about this. If we break above this on the weekly, which means closes this week above this 388, we should be able to go see a run towards 402. What I mean by closing of the week, that means on Friday, we should be above 388. Possibilities. Monday can come out and we run straight to 400. We can go straight to 400 on Monday or Tuesday. And then on Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we can be coming back down to 388. As long as we close this week above 388, we're definitely in the mode for that retest towards that top trend line at 400. So pay attention. If you get into the contracts on Monday and things start taking off and you hit your 402, you need to take profit at that point. If you hit your 400, you need to take profit at that point because what's going to happen? It's going to break back down. You feel me? That resistance on the top of that trend line is very, very solid. It has not broken above that area yet. And I don't think it's going to break above until we get to the May or June time frame, right? So prepare. We got earnings for all tech stocks at the end of this month. We have banks. Usually if banks earnings come out good, it shows you a small area of movement because if the banks is making money, everybody else is making money, right? Pay attention, spy, read the notes, 100 times. Go set your alerts. Do what you got to do because you don't want to miss out on that small window of movement. Because after we get to that 402, I'm almost guaranteed that we're going to pop right back down to 389 and either break down below it or break back above it. But we're definitely going to be getting tight within this area. This is going to be a crucial week going into earnings. And I think we also have the CPI coming out this week also. So please pay attention to SPY going into this week. Overall trend sentiment is down on the weekly. Go down to the 4-hour. We do have the bullish engulfing here. We are breaking above resistance on the 4-hour at 385. And we should be able to, get above this line here and have that retest towards the 400, 402 area. Anybody got questions on SPY? Anybody? Now, don't forget, we are recording. So if you have noise in your background, please mute your mic. Please, I beg you. Next one on the list, man. Listen, I have to put this one back on the list because I believe we're gonna have opportunity coming up soon. Write this one down. This is gonna be Boeing. Boeing earnings date is on January 25th. We already know that Boeing has a lot of things in the work with building new planes for Southwest. They doing some work with the government. They got their hands in a lot of different pots. Their stock price came down to low as $120. Now we're sitting at 213 with a possible continuation. Now, the reason I say this is more of an opportunity for us because Boeing made its move, right? Let's go down to their weekly chart. Boeing overall trend line broke. Once you their overall trend line broke on the weekly. So once you see that overall trend line break on the weekly, we're definitely looking like we're back bullish again. And there's a lot of gaps in Boeing. We could be reaching up to as high as 300 this year. We may be getting as high as 390s and back into this gap up to 423. But Boeing definitely is breaking their overall trend line on the weekly, which is giving us a huge positive sentiment for us to have a continuation. What you got to focus on is not jumping the gun. What I mean by that is RSI is at 88 on Boeing. In order for us to take advantage of Boeing, we need Boeing to come back down to at least 197 or 200 in between that area. The reason I say that is because simple, RSI is high. It's already overbought. It needs to come back down. It need to have a cool off section, right? You could use the cool off may happen. It may consolidate where it's at. It could just go from 212 to 204, right? But I want to have my alert set for this section here, which is between 204 and 202. And I want to have it at that old resistance of 197. Remember, you guys, I told you guys, if Boeing break 197, we're going to 210. I said it clear as day last week on, I don't know what that was, Monday, Tuesday, clear as day. I said Boeing is going to be my hold call. I got the second week expiration date for Boeing. I believe Boeing's about to go. I mean, out of all the ones, that was the one I was going to hold no matter what. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the overall weekly is broken. The 197 is broken, which is the resistance. Let's put that resistance line in there. And now we're looking at a nice high of 213. You know what I mean? So boom, once that 197 broke, you see what happened. We got a solid move, a beautiful move up to $213. So the same thing. We have to wait on this. Boeing is not the one you wake up to and just start running and let's grab Boeing calls. Your first look is going to have to be SPY. SPY, you can day trade, every day. So the opportunity is always there to make money, either on the upside or the downside. If it breaks down support, we can get a SPY put for a day trade easily. If it breaks above resistance, we get a SPY, call easily. That's common sense. With Boeing, because the RSI is so high, we have to wait for it to either do a consolidation, which is sideways movement between two price points, or we're going to have to wait for it to come back down. You know what I mean? These are the two ways that we're going to see Bowen. Now, it could, with the RSI being super high like this, I'm doubtful that we may get a big move first thing on Monday because the RSI is super high. I want it to gap down. I want it to gap down. I want it to drop back down about 204, 202, so I can be able to get a 220 call. Bowen, my idea for Bowen is to get a 220 all the way towards February 17, 2023. That's my idea for Bowen. I need to get us a 220. We need to capitalize off that 220, and then we need to capitalize that at the best price. The best price is going to be once it come down, either between 204 and 202, or the great buy-in price of 197. That will be the ideal move for Bowen. Hopefully you guys are paying attention because this is one of the ones that we know Bowen is going to go. We know Bowen is worth more than $120 when it was at $120. Now, I mean, during the pandemic, Bowen came down to as low as $89. So we're definitely in that mode of, okay, hold up. Let's pay attention to Bowen. We had a double bottom setup, clear as day, at the 119 right here. I put out the 125s and the 150s. Do anybody remember when I was telling you guys October is going to go crazy? During October, I put out the Bowen 165 and the 150s in October, going towards November. So now we're above all that. We're up into this area now. So now we're looking for a bigger move. Hopefully we get that downside first. Hopefully I ain't linger on Bowen for too long or hype y'all. I want y'all to pay attention to the quality of the business. And Bowen is one of them ones where quality over quantity is always going to matter. Now, I mean, so 120, double bottom, trend line break on the weekly. We're looking at Bowen to retrace itself, come right back down to at least 197. If not, 204, 202. I'm going to watch that for a consolidation. And then I'm going to go for the 220 calls going towards February 17th. Anybody got questions on Bowen? Simple stuff, guys. Earnings is on January 25th. Make sure you guys write that down. Set your alert. Do whatever you got to do. But we're trying to catch run-ups before earnings. This is why you talk about these stocks weeks before earnings come, because now we're getting into the season. I don't want anybody chasing this for earnings and miss out on opportunity before. So let's talk about these things early. We've been doing this for some years now. This process works, and we've been killing earnings season every year. This is regular. I don't know how people can catch up on earnings season. I love earnings season. Anybody got questions on Bowen? Okay. I hear y'all. JP Morgan, man. Listen, man. When I tell you it's going, man. I'm not about to sit up here, sometime I know. If y'all need somebody to hold y'all hand, please let me know, man. I can change up the strategy and hold y'all hand a little bit more. But when I tell you at 130 that JP Morgan going to 137, you got to have some type of idea that I know what I'm talking about. Using the same support and resistance that we've been using for years. Simple stuff, guys. We got a downtrend once it tested the 137 back in November. We got a nice downtrend back to the 128, double bottom on the 4-hour, reversal back up. I think Randy been talking about it. We created like a small little chat with it. And then we're back at 137.94 right now. It's literally at the resist. Look at my resistance line. Look at the price where it closed at. I can't make this stuff up. I didn't just jump in and add that to Bowen. All my charts be set up way before it makes its move. So when I click on the chart, it is there. The information is already there for me. I'm already ready to do what I got to do. I can bet on it. Once it breaks above 135, I can get a 137. But we talked about this around 133, 132.80. I remember that. And since then, it's been on a tear. So their earnings is coming up on Friday. This could be either make it or break it for them. Now, I mean, this can be a good earnings or a bad earnings. But if you trade the day of earnings, the best thing to do is buy a call and a put. Because if it goes either way, you make money on the top side or the downside. It don't matter. That's if you trade the day of. If you already in the 135s that we talked about last week, congratulations. We should be able to get up out of those either this week, Monday or Tuesday. But we're definitely at resistance now. We're looking for a break above this area where it's at. And then, we may have a continuation. Let's go look at the weekly chart. It's a small gap between 143 all the way up to 148. We should be able to take advantage of that. Hopefully, if we have a continuation, that should be your area of taking profit between the 147 and the 143. And then that's pretty much it for JP, man. I think we put out a lot of information on JP on why I believe JP was bullish. I think I put out pretty much a whole criteria on why I believe they was bullish. But definitely there. 145 cost possibility going until the week after earnings, because if we do have a great one, it'll continue to move. And on the downside, you can get a 130 put, right? So let's see how that goes. There is a gap here. This gap can be filled before earnings. So the first thing tomorrow, you may see a lot of movement out of JP because this is the week of their earnings. So they may pop up, they may gap up in the morning. So pay attention to that 143 and that 147. Anybody got questions on that? Expiration date is going to be for Monday or Tuesday. If you buy Boeing, your expiration date is going to be the weekly. If you get it past that, you want to kind of buy yourself some time and get it towards the week after this, which is the 20th. Anybody got questions on JP? Pretty simple stuff. I'm not trying to, confuse you guys or talk too crazy. Just want y'all to make some money. CAT, this is one of my favorite stocks. I believe it's a great long-term stock investment. When we first put it out, it was in 2020. The price was like 140, 150. And then it shot all the way up to $243. Notice how it broke all the way back down to around the 160, 163s. And then from there, we had a huge bounce back up. It's at 248 right now. And we're breaking above all resistances, all high levels. I mean, this is the all-time high of CAT. And they pay a high dividend. So this is a quality business. This is why I always tell you guys, always look at quality businesses. Look at businesses that you're familiar with. You don't have to look at, some of the unicorn stocks that people are mentioning. You can make it simple and just get into things that you've been working with for a couple of years. Walmart, McDonald's. You can keep it simple as possible. You don't have to be extra. So CAT is one of those simple trades where you can just take advantage of it. I don't know where it's going to go right now, but what I'm trying to see is their earnings is on January 31st. And we may have a run until then, into their ex-dividend date. You got to remember, in the beginning of the year, they have ex-dividend dates where people are buying this just for their dividends. So their ex-dividend dates is on January 19th. See, that's the tricky thing about dividend stocks. Some people buy dividend stocks at that bottom low, right? So, imagine buying back in one of the worst months in stock market history is already September. On September 25th, CAT came down to 164.02. Imagine buying whole shares here, and then you're getting the profit of the movement. You're almost up $100 a share, and then you also getting paid dividends every 3 months to hold it. So these people that's getting it in at this bottom part, I don't think they're going to be like holding more stocks once it, get past the 19th, because now they got the growth of the stock and they also getting paid. So think about that when you're getting into some of these stocks, man. That's why it's very important. I told you guys there's 3 times you can buy stocks in the market. It's May and June, September and December. Those are the most bearish months in the market. Beginning of this year, yes, those are the bottoms, basically. So yeah, beginning of this year, 6 months is going to be downside to May and June or whatever. But when you get down to September, you need to start scheduling or making that plan. We've done this so many times, man. It's like recycling the same information, but it's true. The market moves off of history more majority of the time, not all the time. But for these last few years, it's been on history. Every June, we get a bullish move going into the summer. Every September, we get downside until the beginning of October. You can trade from October to mid-November, and then in December, you get the downside again. And when you get those discounts on every time, you can buy shares. And then now, in the beginning of this year, you see a nice bullish move coming up out of these stocks. So I don't know where this is going to go. Honestly, I want to point it out because we are reaching all-time highs. And usually when we reach all-time highs, we get a higher high, we get another move up out of it. So pay attention to CAT going into the 19th, not the 31st. 31st is the earnings date, but the 19th is the ex-dividend date. So when that ex-dividend date, which means, you got to hold shares until that date to get paid dividends, you'll definitely be maybe seeing some downside when that date come around, right? And then when that downside comes, you can, calculate using your support and resistance and your charting. What's the best price for me to be able to pull off another option for the retest of the all-time high? So let's see how that go. Or I can show you 4 or 5 examples of stocks reaching their all-time highs and having huge continuations. So this may be one of those things where we may have a huge continuation about CAT. And if I'm looking at the weekly, right, I should be able to find a couple trends in there, right? So I should be able to pull this out. Weekly trend break, right? This is the bottom trend, right? Right there. That's your trend channel. I should be able to pull out some type of charting that agrees with my ideas. So, we see an overall trend break on the weekly. We see an all-time high that's coming in, ex-dividend date on the 19th. For this week, you may be able to pull off a 265, a 260. So keep that in the back of your mind going into this week. I'm not saying jump off the porch and get it. Be patient because the RSI is pretty high on a lot of these stocks. Not this one so much, though. This one's it's okay. I'm going to look at the 1 hour. Oh, 1 hour is pretty high. So, yes, the 1 hour is high. So we may see some downside just a little bit because the 1 hour is high. Go to the 15. 15 hours look pretty mellow. 4 hour chart, kind of high. So, yeah, we may see a little bit of downside before it reverse back up. It's about 240, 244. So keep that in mind. What we're going to get, if you see an all-time high, if the stock come back down to the 9-day moving average, which is at 244.85, watch out for the retest. There's going to be a retest. I'm going to say that again. There's going to be a retest of the all-time high. Just watch for it. So please be patient when you get into some of these trades, knowing that we just came off a huge bullish day on Friday, going to start up this week, guys. What else we got on the list? Meta. Man, listen, man, I'm not trying to tell y'all, I said Meta's going to 130. It don't matter what I say. It don't matter. It matter what the chart says. When you have that chart get into that consolidation area, when you see that bottom of Meta at $80, $90 back in, November, now we're sitting here breaking above the resistance area. We already at 130 even. Our next leg should be at least 138. And that's keeping it tight. And them contracts are going to probably be super expensive. Let's look at their earnings date. I think it's the end of the month. Oh, February 1st is their earnings for Meta. I'm not saying they're going to have a huge recovery. All I'm saying is we're getting past these resistances. The trends are reversing on some of these stocks. Not all of them, just some of them. This one still is in this downtrend, so we're still breaking down. We're not all the way out of the clear yet, but we're definitely looking like we're bullish going into the weekly chart. We're looking for a break above the 134, and then we may be touching that 138, 140. Let's see something real quick. I think I see a consolidation in here on the weekly right here. That's a long, long consolidation that it had right there. And so we definitely looking, that should be our target area on the weekly that we should be fighting. We should be fighting this resistance at 158. So if you see this run up to 158, we should be fighting 158. So again, what scenarios can we pull from this, guys? The same things, guys, ladies and gentlemen. You should be able to see a nice pop up to this line. They make it bigger. We should see a pop. Once above 134, we should see a pop towards this line. That's going to be your resistance, right? That's what number that is, guys. Let's see what we got. That's 158. So we should be a pop at that 158, and we should get denied. I believe that we're not going to break it on the first try. We should get denied at 158, and we should see some downside after coming up above that. So please pay attention to that 158 move above. And it seems far-fetched. I always say that, dude. Like it seemed like it's gonna be that's a lot of money for it to move. Man, listen, we've seen this happen millions of times. Above the 134 resistance line, we should have a nice pop up here towards the 158. And I know it sounds crazy, but I seen stocks go $100 in a day. So this is nothing but 30. You know what I mean? So let's see what happened with this one. This is definitely looking like it's bullish again, though. Once we get above that resistance line, we should have a nice continuation for sure. All right. Anybody else got a question on Meta? Okay. Last but not least, man, I told y'all 5. I got 6. I think SPY is just always SPY, but solid 5. Microsoft. I don't want to stick to a lot of tech, but when you see those discounts, it's like it's calling me. When I see discounts, it literally is like, man, just look at me. You feel what I'm saying? Like when I see Meta, the only red stock, and the rest of the market is green, it's like, look at me. Meta's literally bouncing off of the 200-day moving average on the weekly, right? We're right above the 200-day moving. We close right at the 200-day moving average on the weekly. I'm saying should. I keep saying we should. These are quality businesses, man. Microsoft is a great business. So even if it does break below this line, my eyes gonna be watching on them no matter what, because it's Microsoft. You know what I mean? If we get down to the 180s, let me show y'all where I'm getting my ideas of target prices before we reach the bottom. If you want to use Meta as one of them examples, is like, well, how many areas can we break down before we see the bottom? We can break down almost 2 more areas before we see the bottom of Microsoft. So right here, which was the top resistance back on 2020 pandemic year, and this is the bottom, right? This is the bottom of pandemic year. So that's 185 and 137. I can almost guarantee you that people are going to be buying stocks at both of these price ranges. That's if we don't hold the 200-day moving average. Right now, we're holding the 200-day moving average going into earnings season, right? Who all remember in 2001 when I put out the 240 calls for Microsoft when Microsoft was at 200, right? Those worked out pretty well. This the same idea. Nothing changes. Where's the 9-day moving average sitting at? 139.18. So 240 calls going into their earnings season will be ideal. And it's again, we at 225. Microsoft's been getting beat down, right? We bouncing off the 200-day moving average. This could be a double bottom on the 200-day moving average, right? Earnings is the last week of the month is January 23rd through the 27th. I guess they haven't released the exact date. That's why you always have that coming in on Yahoo Finance. But we're definitely looking like we may be having a bounce, double bottom here, multiple bottoms actually, but double bottom here. And we're looking like we're going to start going towards the 239 again. Boom, there you go. Double bottom scenario, 200-day moving average. Target price is 239.23. Above that, we may see 260. The difference between Microsoft and everybody else is what? Oh, we ain't gonna go. Yeah, y'all don't talk to me. Let me go ahead. Let me just continue. The difference between Microsoft and everybody else is their top trend line. Their top trend line, the price range is not even nowhere near their top trend line yet. Hey, man, did I record this today? I think I'll be in my bag sometime. I think I feel good today. I just want to get rid of that first few jitters, right? It looked like we're not even close to that top trend line. So more than likely, what's the more likely situation may happen after you see the trend line in there? We may get a bounce here, guys. We may get a bounce here.
Double bottom there.
There we go. Thank you. Somebody talk to me nice. I know this. I know football Sunday.
A double bottom, and then it's already hit that trend several times. So yeah, if we see a break above that, it could go.
Right. Boom. And we're not. It's only coincidence that my support and my moving averages all line up with the trend line. That's only coincidence. That's not. It don't usually happen like that. Somebody made. Oh, you can make comments in this. I did not know. Oh yeah. You could talk, JB. I had to mute you, man, because your sound, bro. You was making static, bro. I couldn't. You know what I mean? But
I've
yeah.
been on. I've been on the whole time.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk. You were talking about Bo, and I wanted to ask you a question.
Okay. I got you. My bad. But yeah. Look, check me out. But I'll jump back to Bowen too. I got you. But we're not close to our trend line. So that's the difference between Microsoft and looking at, SPY and Meta. A lot of these are either breaking through the trend line or either arriving close to the trend line. So we're not even close to this. Technically, we're early.
Dave, what's the horizontal red line you got there? Just the support, just one of the supports.
200, the 200 MA.
Okay, yeah. So you see, as it's going to intersect that. So once it gets to that trend line, just be careful because we want to obviously a break above. But if it keeps trading within that, then
right,
it gets to that intersection. That's decision time.
And this is why you buy either close to the money options or in the money options. If you get you a 230 for midway February, knowing that their earnings is going to be at the end of the month, and you see the price run up to 240 and 260, boom, you good. And you got time on your contracts. That is why it seems like it's too expensive to buy expensive options. But those are the easiest ways to get paid, honestly. When you buy, especially when the way it's sitting so pretty. It's like right there. You feel me? So if you can be able to afford a 230 or 235 and go towards mid-February, 217 expiration dates, and if this breaks above the 239, dude, you're going to be happy with yourself. You feel me? You're going to be like, man, that was a great decision to spend the extra $600 or how much it costs. See how much it costs.
Well, plus, Dave, I've been doing that more recently, and what makes you feel good about those is even on the down days, because you have so much time and you're closer to the money, it doesn't move as much even when you're losing.
Exactly, because you bought time. So look at the 230, 235. You're talking about $800, $830, $620, right? Open interest and volume, 15,000 in open interest. 1,400 in volume. So people are collecting on those right now. I even see 270s, and these 270s may just be momentum trades. They may just be picking up, a couple of dollars here and there for 43 cents and running them up once it makes a move, right? But either way it go, a 235 call for 600 is not gonna. You're not gonna cry over those because if it breaks 230 and run up to 240, you may be at $4,000 or $5,000 in a matter of just waiting for a month. It's only a month out. You feel what I'm saying? Or maybe for 2 weeks because earnings at the end of this month. So consider just different type of movements or different type of strategies when you're looking at these stocks like Microsoft. Knowing how good of a business Microsoft is, man, this is going to be crazy. This is going to be exactly that. This is going to be crazy, guys. So please pay attention to Microsoft, man. I mean, I can't even hand you a better share or a better stock or a better setup than what Microsoft is doing on the weekly. That's an amazing setup. And it's pretty, stuck until let's put you in this one there. I don't want to get your hopes up. If it breaks down below the 225 and close on the weekly below 225, yes, you can get a $200 put or $280 put. You know what I mean? You can let us ride that down. But I don't think it is. I think we're going to bounce here and retest that trend line before we do anything. And the best idea is to buy a good put once we get towards that trend line resistance. That's the best idea. And this is the weekly chart. This is not no short time frame.
Throw that trend line on the bottom, on the lows.
Oh, okay. Hold on. I know what you're trying to do here. Yep.
I feel like if it does break down, it's gonna give you that same feeling you're talking about right now, like retesting that top trend line.
Right.
If it does break down, I don't think it's gonna go below 200. and then we get a nice little spike back up to the 230s.
Oh,
Like,
facts.
I don't think
Facts.
they're resistant. That trend line will be another support level.
Right. Trend line will be another support.
Yeah, it can break down below where it is now.
Yeah, that's facts. I agree with that 100%. 100%. Anybody else? Hey man, I appreciate y'all for joining, man. Yeah, listen, I'm making it short and simple. I'm not about to be here making it difficult and confusing. I don't want to confuse you. I just want you to be confident when you're going in with these things, because the chart's going to tell you the direction of the market. Now, I mean, it wasn't no accident that Microsoft Microsoft on Friday gave out so much money opportunities. It was ridiculous. It was literally ridiculous. Their contract was going for 6 cents. How do I know? Because I was down. I bought them on Thursday. I left a runner. It went down to 6 cents, and I got back in the money all of a sudden when it bounced again. So, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I should have bought more, but I didn't. I was just like, whatever. But when it dropped down to 219, look at that recovery. And the one thing you got to notice, when days like Friday, when the market goes super green in pre-market, it shows you the direction of the market of where it want to go. That's what I told everybody on the live on Friday. I say, look, the market want to go up, guys. It showed us the direction. So when you see that first in the morning drop, and everybody started buying right at the bottom here at 10 o'clock rule, and then it recovered, man, that was a crazy recovery. But we have to pick up on those we have to notice those small things. It's the small things. It's not the big things, man. This is the 15-minute. You notice the gap here on the 15, and you see the recovery once it bounced back above that line, right? It closed on the weekly above the weekly support. That's what matters. As long as we close above, if it can drop down to 210, but if it closes on Friday above that weekly, we're okay. You feel what I'm saying? We understand that? You understand me? Anybody else got questions, comments, or concerns? Last one, man. I'm gonna give y'all a bonus, man, because I'm still here. I'm still here, guy. Listen, Apple. Ain't nothing else for me to really say, man. We talked about Apple in length. I told you guys my idea was a retracement back to 131. We're at 129, right? Why did I feel it was a retracement? Because I seen on the, what was that? What time frame that was? The 4 hour? I don't know what I was looking at. I think it was the 4 hour. Let me see real quick. Yes, the 4 hour chart. I seen that we didn't get a solid retest towards that 131. But see, we had one here back on the 3rd, and then it dropped down, but we need to have a solid retest. That means the candle must touch that line on the 4 hour. Now, I mean, we have to close at 141 on the 4 hour. So that was my idea of a retracement. And then, from there, you can get your puts and let it, whatever happens, or you can wait for after earnings and see what happens from there. But that was my idea when I seen Apple. I'm like, man, we got to go back up here, guys. We can't just linger. The market ain't going to crash the first month of the year. That's crazy. But yeah, man, we've seen this type of movement before. You guys notice my Junes. These are my Junes. Like, we've seen all this before, guys. The bottom is always June. Happened multiple times. Now we're looking for that same type of deal in 2023, and we can make some money. So watch out for that retracement for Apple if you're an Apple guy or Apple lady. And look for that 65 9-day moving average towards the 138 if we break above the 131. Anybody else got questions? I know you want to talk about Boeing? Anybody what was the question on Boeing? I don't think JJ paying attention. JJ, talk to me.
Hey, Dave.
What's up, bro?
I was going to ask you, so now that Boeing has made such a run, when you're playing these long contracts, I guess you got them to what, February 17th?
No, I'm just looking at, we're still in the bearish time frame of the year. I don't want to go towards anything but February and March. Now, I mean, in June is going to be for the tech stocks. I'm gonna try to get some June puts, $90, $100 apples. Now, I mean, whatever I can pull out of June. I mean, for June expiration date, I want to get those at the peak of the earnings. So if earnings week come around and you see a huge move, if I buy a day of earnings call, and it's going to probably be a put for the tech stock, and my expiration date is going to probably be June. And for Apple, it's going to be 90. I'm looking for 100 out of 90 for Apple off rip. Like, I'm not even going to play with them.
But so you're not swinging the Boeing calls?
I got Boeing still. I told you I ain't going nowhere with them. That's my baby. That's my favorite.
Well, I mean, I just remember sometimes, when I was first doing this with you a year or two ago.
Yeah.
We would run up like Boeing just did, and then I'd sit on them, and then they just come right back down.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, I'm holding mine. I'm doing, you do what you do. Now, don't do what I do. I'm holding my 210 because, again, I want to come down a little bit. I'm going to buy some 220s. So if Monday going to let me release whatever I got released. It's a runner, dude. I already got paid for it. I just want to see what else happened. If I can get it, may give us a retest towards the high. The RSI is at 71 on the 1 week. We may pop up a little bit. We may go to 220 first and then come down. I just want to see what's going to happen with that. You know what I'm saying? I'm already past
like a put. If that does happen.
That's too. Again, I gave out six stocks. I tell people all the time.
I'm just struggling when to get out on these. Like if I play a contract with time on it, and we catch the move, but then it goes into consolidation.
My suggestion is,
we lose a lot of money at theta.
But listen, my suggestion is, you won't lose money with the 210s because we're already past the break-even point. My suggestion is this. You have to sell your contracts when you're comfortable at selling your contracts. It cannot be, or you have to look at your chart and sell when you're comfortable at the chart move. It cannot be relied upon on what I do. Because maybe in my mind, I'm thinking 3, 4, 5 different things. That's why when I talk about these stocks, I'm trying to make it safe for you guys. My strategy is my strategy. And that's how I have to see it, because no matter what happened, it's on me. Like, it's on me, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you make money, it's on me. If you lose money, it's on me. So I'm trying to give you the safest possibilities ever. I'm trying to tell you, look, if you're not comfortable at holding stocks or options past their break-even point, sell. If you're up 100%, sell. If you're up 40%, sell. Like, you have to be comfortable at selling first. You cannot worry about the extra stuff. You got to get comfortable at selling and making profit. The more that you consistently make profit, you'll be fine. It don't matter if it can be more. Why? Because it's 6 more stocks that we got set up for us. You could sell Boeing and jump right back into Microsoft because Microsoft got a better setup. You feel me? So everybody's bank account is different. Everybody's account size is different. Some people can afford to hold stuff longer. Look at Lou. He's buying Tesla puts, cars all over the place. His account is set up for that. He got enough money where he can buy whatever he wants. It don't matter which one loses because he's buying time on everything. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about that. If you got a small account, you're supposed to be collecting checks every opportunity. It don't matter. You feel me? And that's the truth. I'm just being real, because if I got $30,000, $40,000 in this, and you may have 1,000, I can average down. I can afford to average down. I can afford to roll over. I can afford to do a lot of different things that most people ain't got the opportunity to do. So if you got a small account, you need to hit your target and get up out of there. That's the truth, because we all got different account sizes. I can't rely on what my strategy is for yours, because our accounts are different. We understand. I'm trying to make it, I ain't trying to make it like extra. I'm just trying to you gotta put yourself in that mind span. Like, bro, collect your checks, bro. Just like on Friday, we hit really quick, early in the morning. First thing in the morning, people did Tesla calls because we seen the gap. People was doing the penny stocks, and then that penny stock that you bought went up to $25 right after you sold it. But those are the things that I'm trying to explain to you. Patience, discipline. We was done trading by 10:30 in actuality. on Friday. We were done at 10:30. We have nothing to do. And then everything started going crazy and more. It didn't make me feel like I had to rush out there and get more stuff. It's teaching me patience and discipline if I can control myself and my spending habits. If I can, it's real life stuff. If you go to the store and like, man, I really want this shirt, but it's $200, and then you buy the shirt for $200 and come back a month later and see it on sale, you're gonna kick yourself like, damn, I could have waited 1 month to get the same shirt for 50% off. It's the same mind frame, man. If you want to buy a PlayStation, you're like, man, PlayStation 800. But you know somebody that can sell it to you for $4. When you want the $4, it's the same. Everything is the same. The stock market, the psychology behind it is literally real life scenarios. Now, I mean, I'm just being real with you. It's all real life scenario. That's why they say the psychology behind this matters more than anything. Because we want more. Everybody wants to hit their home run. And I explain to you guys year after year, don't go for the home run. Go for getting on base. That means collect your checks. If you was up, $100, $500 on some good calls, I'm done for the day. Then on Monday, you still got $500 to play with. Imagine if you would have put that back into the market. You don't have the $500 on Monday no more. And then the plan ain't gonna work. You feel me? Now we putting together a whole new plan today that's gonna be justified tomorrow. And then I can use my $500, jump into something tomorrow and be like, man, I'm killing it now. Now I just doubled up on my $500 trade. You feel what I'm saying? Like, think about that. If you sell Boeing, you got 4 or 5 more stocks that you can rely on. Thanks, man. Mm-hmm. You want to say hi to the people?
Jerome Powell speak this week in the CPI report.
CPI. So we know CPI is coming out. And again, 2 things can happen. We can run before CPI, we can consolidate before CPI, or we can fall off before CPI. But just know, my trading strategy, and I'm not trying to say this be extra, bro, but I cannot trade relying on what he's going to say. It's hard to say that. I know it is. Man, but you should. They control the market. Okay. We thought the jobs report was going to come out bad when it didn't. It's the same man mentality. What the chart tells me what to do, I'm going to move on it. I may not have no positions by the time CPI come around, just to be safe. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, nah, let me just not trade today. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait, see what happens with CPI, make good decisions, call it a day. Anybody else got questions? Everybody been good? We good to go?
Got it. You the man, D.
No, I got you. I just want y'all to understand. Collecting the check is the most important part of this. You feel me? Trading the stocks that we're familiar with is the most important part of this. It's waiting for your being patient and setting alerts is very important. Sometimes we overdo and we overthink. Sometimes it's not that hard. It's really just the patience and discipline. It's like if I set alert towards, like we'll talk about SPY, right? We'll talk about 281. What SPY is that? 381? We're talking about 381 for like ever. Man, if we break 381, we're gone. And when we see it breaks 381 multiple times. And what's the reaction? What do you do when SPY breaks their resistance? Do we sit there on our hands? Do we buy? You feel what I'm saying? Like those are the moments where you should be looking at your plan and doing what's according. You should be doing what's according to your plan. Sometimes we can get caught up in the action and be like, man, forget everything go out the window the day of. When it's time to trade, everything goes out the window. We forget everything that happens. Now, I mean, we it's just crazy. Anybody else? Well, look, guys, I'm only here for a short while, not a long time. So I'm gonna have to hit y'all up in the morning Hopefully you guys took some notes. I did record the session. Always remember, guys, the point of this is to make at least 1% of your account a day. If you can make 1% of your account a day, by the end of the year, you'll be happy with yourself. Now, I mean, do not get caught up in the hype. Stay consistent and create a plan. If your plan is through penny stocks, research penny stocks. If your plan is to do options, do your homework on options. Technical analysis is very, very important, and I'm showing you guys this every week, why I use technical analysis, why I'm so set on doing technical analysis. We have to put our minds to this stuff and stop allowing the psychology behind this to throw us off. Know what I mean? So please, guys, let me know if you need me. Read up on the Tesla. I know they've been talking about Tesla today. I mean, Tesla may go to $30. I mean, that's probably the only thing I can hear, you know. Let me ask Lou real quick. I mean, they've been down in Tesla for like the last month.
If Tesla go down to $30, it's gonna be for literally 1 hour worth of trading. It's only gonna last 1 hour.
Bro, it's a possibility, bro.
1 hour. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's not a possibility. I'm just saying if it do go down to $30, it's only gonna be there for an hour.
Yeah, that'll be crazy. That'll be crazy.
Give me the $100 calls for next year.
Yeah, for real. For real, bro. That's crazy. I mean, you know, some of these analysis, man, they come out. Like, do we all agree that Tesla was overvalued for the last few years? We all agree.
I agree, Dave.
Okay.
I think you're right.
Right, you know what I mean?
They're trading at like 6 times GM and Ford. I mean, come on.
Right.
It's been a meme stock for the last year.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
It's got a lot of attention. It's an Elon stock.
Let me see something real quick.
I know you could pull up Chipotle, and I could say the same thing about Chipotle.
No, that's hold on. You think Chipotle overvalued too? So their total revenue for 2001 in this Tesla, it's like 53 million. 2020, it was 31 million. Today it's 74 million, right? And then you go to their market cap, they got 357 billion in market cap. I mean, you know, that alone makes me question, you know, what Tesla's on. Like, they're not making that much money. Let's go to Apple. I don't know if they think.
Elon coming out with that technology, you know,
right.
The patent and everything that he got going on right now.
But you go to Apple, they're almost making $400 million. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not even close. You feel me? And their market cap, you know.
How long Apple been around and how long Tesla been around?
I agree, disagree, but you know, let's see what happens, man. Let's see what happens. I mean, I'm excited to see. I think, you know, we back at this 113 area. Let's see, on 4 hour. I mean, look like we got to get a one above 123 to see any type of real movement, which is the 65-day moving average. But I think we're gonna be back at 103 sooner or later. I think we're gonna be back down.
Yeah, they got earnings coming up, don't they? They got earnings coming up in maybe February, January.
January 25th.
Yeah, that might be what shoot them down to the 90s and stuff.
Nah, for
but
sure.
I think if the market run this week, you could definitely play that 123, 125 areas.
Let me see something about Amazon. Hold up. Amazon making $500,000. I mean, they killing them, bro.
Go look at CMG.
Who?
It's Chipotle.
Oh, CMG. That's a good company, bro.
I can't stand that.
38 billion. Yeah, that stock price crazy, but people was happy when I don't think people understood how cheap they was during pandemic. Like, look at this, bro.
You think if Panera come out, Panera gonna be worth the same amount?
Panera? But Black Pharaoh, tell them why CMG is like this though. It's a different type of vibe with CMG, bro. Like you gotta understand.
They got a nice business model.
They got a nice business, man. Like I'm telling you.
It stands for Chipotle.
Oh no, they don't.
They undervalued.
Yeah. They overvalued too. Chipotle overvalued, but their business model carrying them, bro. Their business model carrying them, bro. Like they only make like 10 million a year. That's crazy. Oh man. But yeah. I mean, it's a different.
How often do you go to Chipotle and you see that bitch empty?
Yeah, I've been before. I don't know.
Never, but that's like Starbucks, man. And I swear Starbucks coffee overpriced, but it ain't showing in that stock price.
Nah.
Might be so.
Nah, they definitely, yeah, it's crazy. All their money go back into the business too with Chipotle. People don't realize that their total expenses is $7 million. Their revenue is only $8 million. So they spend almost all their money putting it right back into the business. That's different. It's different, bro. And so that means they only get taxed on $1 million. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but that's pretty smart.
Will they be a broke stop?
What, this Chipotle?
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they're growing as much, man. I think it's slowing down drastically. Their height was like almost yeah, it's kind of slowing down. Like it's starting to pick up a downtrend too. So we may be going back down to 1,100 for their recession price. But yeah, I mean, when it first was, look at this, man. It first opened up. This is the monthly chart. It was only $55 in 2006. And then from there, dude, shot up, dude. Like,
what's that dip? That was recession?
No, that's 2018. That's 2018, bro. That was $350 2018.
That was a salmonella outbreak. They had a whole little salmonella issue.
And then right here, they got the 650 in 2020 for pandemic. And then boom, went up to 2000.
Damn.
Yeah, man. Crazy. But their moat, they got a moat that nobody else can really compete with. So it is what it is. A lot of people don't know they get fresh. Well, I think that if you've been trading for a while, we all know the stories. Chipotle get fresh veggies every day from local farmers. Like that's their thing. No other business is doing that. No other fast food is getting fresh veggies and fruits and shit and meats, excuse my language, every day. Like, they got to stock and store that stuff. They're using their stuff. They're using their product. And they're working with local farmers, man. That's huge. For the community, that's a huge boost. Yeah, man, that's a huge boost. So it's one of those things where, yeah, they're overvalued, but they like them. People like them, man. I don't know people buying the stock price at this price, though. This is crazy. I mean, they say they undervalued. They said their fair value price is $11.66. So that's the buy-in price according to Yahoo Finance. So if you can afford them at $11.66, then congrats.
Yeah. 1 year target.
Right. I mean, shoot, if you got it, go for
it. Man, they should have went ahead and did the split right along with Google and Amazon.
They should split. They should split. They definitely. I don't think they're going nowhere no time soon. Anybody else got questions?
Randy had brought up Enphase one day, and I put it on my radar. I was keeping an eye on it, but I wasn't too strong on it. I missed a couple of red days. I seen it down red, but I didn't get to get in no plays.